Hey, it's Sage, and I'm here with a video. Oh, geez, a video for once. So, I'm joined with a few guests today. So, would you like to introduce yourselves? I'll start with Synsei, since you're the first on my little thing next to me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sage. First and foremost,
No
hello
problem.
everyone. I'm Sensei Inc. I do YouTube videos and I stream sometimes. Check me out if you want to. Glad to be here.
Cool. Jay?
What's up, everybody? It's the Don, the Godfather, future Hall of Famer, JD Legend. I do YouTube videos, anime live reactions, and discussion videos. Sometimes I stream on Twitch. Thank you for having me here, Sage.
Not a problem. Andres?
Sage has put out videos more recently than I have, so don't come to my channel. But I'm happy to be here.
Wow. I'm glad you're all happy to be here. Not a problem. I'm glad you're here. So yeah, we'll start off with a couple of questions. So we're focusing mostly on Wano today, and the women in Wano, and kind of women's roles in the story, because like they're a talking point at the moment, and I don't make that many videos. I so why not? Why not? So So what do we think that Wano's secrets to cutting the poneglyphs are? Because like I think it'll tie in with Robin and stuff.
So we already know there's a rope poneglyph in Wano for sure, but then considering the fact that the poneglyphs were made in Wano, I think we're gonna run into somebody who still knows how to make and read poneglyphs as well.
Ooh.
And I think that person would be the one to kind of explain the history behind it, and he possibly might even know something that's been passed down through his family, right? So that could be a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how much has been passed down through families, because the Mink civilization don't seem to know exactly why they have ties to the Kozuki family. So I'd be interested if someone's gone through the level of learning like the poneglyph language and how to carve it and all of this. They're gonna know more than like most even people with ties to the Void Century, like, because like obviously Vivi and Cobra were completely like no idea on the whole thing, like well cut out the situation. And those are the first kind of ally-ish people that we get to meet that are connected in any way, shape, or form with it. So
I would say, as far as there being a separate individual that exists within Wano that already has this information, I think it's probably more than anything someone we've already met, if this person does exist. But I would say that the highest probability of finding out about this would be from Oden's journal, because he was the last Kazuki, and he was the last person that actually knew how to do that, and he never passed down the information that from what the scabbards know.
Right.
So if it's anywhere, then it would have to be in his journal.
Oh, you're fine. I was just gonna. Drizzt brought up the journal. I was saying you brought up the journal already, but I was gonna also say that I think that the whole journal itself is gonna have some information about it, and I think that's gonna like probably add to Yamato's character a little bit, because she's been studying this journal probably her entire life. She dedicated her life to becoming Odin. So like, I think that might be something that happens later on. Maybe it adds a new plot point to the story or something where we get a little bit more with Yamato. So I agree with Drizzt. I think if anything, it might be in the journal, and maybe that like further personifies like Yamato's importance in the story.
Yeah, and as far as like how that actually plays into the lore of Wano, this I'm not particularly sure on, because no one that's currently in Wano, except for maybe one or two individuals, would have any idea of what the history of Wano actually is, because most people don't really know.
And most of the people who knew are either allies or in the prison bit or dead or
dead. Yeah, so that's kind of weird. There's a few ways we get information through exposition of other characters that may be knowledgeable, like the Yonko, or even Odin's journal. Although I don't think it could have a whole lot in there. Otherwise, it'd kind of be like a treasure chest.
Yep.
But you could potentially see that in deciphering one of the 4 poneglyphs that the Straw Hats have to decipher by the end of the arc, although 2 of those would be road poneglyphs. It's possible. I'm not sure where that actually comes into play, because unlike Skypiea, where Skypiea had like the lore of the entire history of their people, that was passed down through the native tribes. And we met those characters, so I'm not sure if it's going to be the same thing as in Wano, but if that happens, we'll only find out later.
Yeah. My other thought would be if Yamato dedicated her life to becoming an Odin, and there is anything in those like notes that Odin's left. My question would be: she's withheld from her father for as long as this obsession has begun, that she would have any, or he or they or whatever would have any inkling of what's within the poneglyphs. Like they'd literally have said, "Nah, I'm not helping you at all." Like even though they probably do have some form of inside information. Like that's mad. That shows you like. See, what if the cuffs aren't just like a cosplay-ish thing, like from when they remember Odin? Like, what if they really were locked up because of almost being a bit traitorous towards Kaido's cause?
That's a possibility. I mean, it could be how Yamato disappeared in the first place. Maybe they were being... If I were to allude to anything, it'd be kind of similar to how... I guess this would be a spoiler, how Killua was treated whenever he went back to his family in Hunter x Hunter. Where he's too strong, or they're too capable to just be trapped like that by normal means. But it's possible they could have escaped, although it's kind of really hard to say at this point in time because we don't have a whole lot of information.
Do you think it's possible that someone like Drake let them out?
See, I would not guess Drake to be the person, because I'm not sure if that is a plotline that would even necessitate Drake interfering.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Because he's, I would consider Drake to be more aligned with different plot lines. So if he's included in what I would consider the overarching characters of the arc, I would be surprised.
It's alright. Yeah, so going back to what we think Robin will learn from the poneglyphs in Wano. So I'm feeling like there may be something about like the traditions of tribes and clans and like bloodlines and stuff like that. Like maybe it's not like, I'm not expecting anything about the D's, and I'm not expecting anything about like major spoilers for the end game. I'm expecting maybe something about Joy Boy though, like the way we have one in Fishman Island.
You think we'll get anything more about the voice of all things, Kazumomo?
Maybe. I want to know what connection the Minx and the Kazuki have from the poneglyph, if I'm honest, because they don't seem to know themselves, and I feel like they need to know, they need to understand why they've got such a deep trust and why each other are so important, and what connections that has between Shanisha and the Kazuki as well, because whatever it is goes back, 800 odd years, so it's that level, it's that territory.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as where specifically we would get that, I don't know why this hasn't been an explored plot point yet. It was kind of ignored by Robin. But when Brook told the Straw Hats about the thing he found underneath Orochi's castle,
the dolls,
poneglyphs surrounded by the dolls, that would come back into play at some point in time. So if there's a specific poneglyph that pertains information relevant to Wano, it would be that one. But we do have another regular poneglyph that could either be an information poneglyph, or one that talks about like the ancient weapons, or I forget what are the 2 categories of poneglyphs. They either point to an ancient weapon or the information ones. Is that it? Something like that. It's something along those lines. I may have gotten it wrong, but at some point in time, we're probably going to have to learn about... I don't know what arc it would be, but we're probably going to get some kind of idea of what Uranus is.
Yeah, of course.
I think now would be a cool time to at least like have it be talked about in one of like the random poneglyphs. Otherwise, there's only so many arcs left in the series for it to show up in.
I think it largely depends on what Uranus is and what it connects towards, like what it did. Because I feel like all of the ancient weapons must have done something for them to be considered weapons.
That's true, yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, I have like the haphazard theory. I don't know how it's still going to tie into the arc, but once upon a time, I thought that was it Zunisha was ordered by the previous Uranus of like Void Century time to like walk the Earth for all eternity for whatever crime that Zunisha committed, because Zunisha did commit a crime. They were punished.
Yeah,
That's
and
why
I
they're
agree
walking.
with that. I agree with that.
So, and that command is basically eternal for what it seems like, because Uranus is probably not an immortal being. But the only person that could actually command Zunisha was Momo. Which is how they connected the voice of all things. So if that idea is in any way relevant, it could come back at the end of this arc.
Do you think it's possible that the crime that Zunisha committed was in direct conflict with the D's in regards to the war with the... I don't think there's a specific name for them, but we're assuming the world government at that time. Do you think that the elephant betrayed them, or was manipulated by someone like a D who defected and then manipulated him by using the voice of all things, and that's probably that whole betrayal is what caused his own punishment? As
far as that goes, that's a really good idea. This would entirely depend on what the actual timeline is, because in Zoe, I forget the name of this mink, but I think it was like the goat mink or like one of the doctor minks.
Yeah.
While they were patching up Zunisha on the side, they basically said that Zunisha had been walking for over 1,000 years. So if 1,000 is anything to go by, that is before the Void Century.
There you go. Okay, that makes sense.
She got some strong ass legs.
Yeah.
Long and strong.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
But I do expect that to come around at least at the end of this arc, because Zunisha should have already been here at some point in time.
Yeah.
And I don't think Zunisha just dropped off the care package of soldiers and dipped back to wherever the heck Zunisha was walking towards.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because, I mean, Zoe's always in a different place, right? Because it's just on her.
Yeah, somewhere within the New World, because Zunisha shouldn't be able to do anything.
Oh, yeah, of course. So she's probably been at this point, she's probably been everywhere in the New World. 1,000 years?
Yeah, at least that's walkable.
Yeah. Man, she might have seen a lot. You think, man, she might be able to tell Momo some stuff, man. If Momo can figure out how to talk to her. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Momo could potentially find... I mean, theoretically, Momo, if Zunisha has an intelligent brain, isn't like just a dumb animal.
Yeah.
Momo could potentially talk to Zunisha and actually get confirmation on what they did and what happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would be dope. And elephants are like, at least are pretty like wise, or they're depicted as wise animals.
And they have very superior memories as well.
Yeah,
and at least whenever Zunisha was talking to Momonosuke, it sounded like intelligent talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that would be cool, bro.
I think when it comes to Zunisha, I'm interested in the way that we have kind of arcs. I've talked about it before, but arcs in One Piece. So Zunisha is almost like an arc for the minks. Fishman Island is like an arc for the fishmen. There are moons which are hollow and seem to be able to come down to the earth and suck people up, because we saw that in the Capone Beige cover story ages ago, like not the most recent one we've got now, where there's like a massive moon above him and it's like trying to suck him up. So I feel like there's a lot of arcs in One Piece. Like we've got a lot of races off land, like the Skypians as well. They're in the sky, and they worship the earth as well. Like when they see it, they call it birth and all of that. And I feel like maybe before the Void Century, there were lots of problems with land and how far apart all the islands are, and they didn't probably have like all of the ships and stuff they've got now, the technology. Like One Piece, I think was set something like in a 1400s, isn't it? Oda was aiming for, or something.
Something similar to that, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for the indigenous islands that would be an issue, but not for the ancient kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that maybe the strength of the ancient kingdom was part of its downfall in a way, you know, like everyone else having barely anything kind of turning upon them or whatever. And you know, but that would be the problem with that for me, is it's not morally grey enough. It doesn't, because if they had all the power, then it would make sense that like you'd want to overthrow them, because like you don't want a small place in charge of everything, like, kind of thing, do you really? But because we want to overthrow the celestial dragons, because the world government as it is isn't necessarily the flawed one. You know, the Marines as they are isn't necessarily all flawed. Like, some are very much so, but not all. So it's, I don't know, man. So much stuff. Any other thoughts, good dudes?
Oh, well, I guess I could say this.
Yeah.
I don't know, with these plot points you talked about, I don't specifically know if these are going to be mega relevant to Robin.
Yeah.
More so than the fact that she might be the medium that we learn about them. I'm not sure if these are going to come back and actually matter for her as a character.
Yeah. I think
because, like, as far as the previous Poneglyphs go, she was the one who gave us the exposition for Poseidon, but Robin's even stated before that she does not care about ancient weapons. So that information for her is useless. And she didn't even divulge the information to the Straw Hats about Pluton or about Poseidon. Like, none of them know about that. That's unknown information for them. And the road poneglyphs, it seems that Nami is actually the one that's necessary in order to get the information out of those and make it relevant, because they're coordinates. And Robin doesn't know how to do that. So I'm not sure where that's going to go. I imagine if I were Oda that I would put some plot line that gets Robin a bit closer to the truth. I just don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah, and I think one of my concerns is that Oda isn't using, like, Robin is one of the core reasons that we're able to go on the adventure that we're going on. Like, she's able to read the poneglyphs, so we're going to probably be able to get to Laugh-Tale. And yet, her own dreams and motives are kind of superseded by that now.
That's true.
Yeah.
I just don't know when Oda's going to, like, bring that full circle.
Yeah.
I think the one time that you would be able to do it is it's possible, depending on Robin's matchup, right? That one, if she matches up with, say she has a tag team with someone like Yamato, right? And we already mentioned Odin's logbook being a major factor in the history of the world. Someone like Robin could be very interested in that information. And if she develops a relationship with Yamato and they kind of have like a Nami Lola moment, it's possible that later on down the line that'll come up. And with Yamato reading that book over and over and over again, one, Yamato has a vast amount of knowledge in regards to Odin's journey and probably the world itself. She may even know she may even know about the poneglyph that Brooke mentioned, which was underneath Orochi's castle, if I'm not mistaken. So
something along those lines, yeah.
So that could be a way to segue into Robin's ultimate role in Wano, if it's a possibility.
That would be a good way to get it done.
Yeah, that's just his route. But again, you know, Oda has his ways, so we'll see what he has to do in that regard.
Cool. So, what role do you think Zeus is gonna play with Nami? Like, because obviously Prometheus has found them, Big Mom's chasing them, Sanji's kind of gone to find the prostitutes, but I think a lot of people, I know Jay probably does too, feel that Sanji disappearing is a really good sign. Yeah, so obviously quite a few people feel like Sanji disappearing is going to be a really good thing. It has been in the past, so I I can't hate that. That's fair. My only concern is like what is gonna fall to what I think is all girls actually, isn't it? It's Shinobu, Carrot, and Nami. So it's 3 girls versus Big Mom at the moment. Which Jesus. Oh Jesus.
So like, was your general question, where do we see the Zeus plotline going?
Yeah, where do you see that going?
I'm kind of like interested in the whole Big Mom thing after last chapter, because like now this could just be him not knowing what's going on, but there was like a point in right around it was on the where the full spread was with the calamities and Orochi and Kaido, where Kaido was asking where Lin was and Bao Hung was saying that she's on her way. So I don't know if that could mean that he just doesn't know what's going on with Big Mom and them, or that Big Mom might have already taken care of the problem. So I really don't know like which one it is. But like we didn't really get much context last chapter on like their group and what's going on. So maybe this chapter will get some information on it. But he did say that she was on her way. So I don't know if he just hasn't been informed of what's going on her end, or if it's something that happened off screen. But I'm curious about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It would be, I don't know, because let's say if you go with the possibility that Big Mom wrapped things up and let's say captured everybody, it's a bit limiting in terms of that would just basically be combining 2 plot lines together. But I would say, if anything, that he's probably not aware that Big Mom went to go do something else, and that was Bao Fawn, I think that's the name, just reporting in like the initial report. But it could go whatever way Oda wants it to. But when it comes down to the idea of what's the end goal for this Zeus stuff, if Zeus was going to get returned, like many people want Zeus to get returned by Big Mom, then it would have been meaningless overall to take Zeus to begin with, because nothing of substance has been done with him to justify taking him in the first place.
No.
Outside of like some long-winded way of nerfing Big Mom in a specific situation where she was chasing the Straw Hats, where Zeus would have been far too powerful for them to avoid, which is not a good justification.
Not for having her this long.
Yeah, there's just so much that went on with the Zeus. I feel like for him to just be returned is kind of it will kind of be lacking in that regard of like anything of relevance really happening, like Drizzt was saying. And I agree. I think that's not, for me at least, reading it, it's not really a good enough excuse for me to just be okay with him being returned. It's just a nerf, because there was just so much like that went on with it. Like, right. So I just kind of want to see, something else.
Now, on the flip side is what other possibilities remain. This is the one that I don't want to happen, but it seems the most likely to me, is that this will be somehow used to take Prometheus from Big Mom.
Ooh,
for whatever reasons that Oda wants to do this.
I would not. Okay.
But it's like that's the only one that seems obvious to me, that seems like something that Oda would be going for, which inherently is a nerf to Big Mom, but we've seen this before. I don't want that to happen. But Nami as a character has no relevant plot lines to Big Mom as a character, so outside of returning Zeus or Nami getting something else from Big Mom, I don't know how much leeway there is there.
Yeah, because with Zeus, at least you have like the whole weather background thing. But like with Prometheus, it's like I don't know. I can't really think of like a correlation besides like.
Well, Nami, as far elemental wise, it goes along with the elements that Nami has in her climate tech. She has water, fire, and then lastly lightning.
She'd be able to be very destructive if she has the ability to create heat in whatever way she'd like to.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like the powers and stuff make sense to me, but I'm kind of like with you on like the. I just kind of would want something good. Yeah, I just would want something else, like.
Because like
not that.
Yeah, because Prometheus's whole personality is very angry and hateful towards Nami.
Yeah.
Like it makes very little sense to how she actually managed to get Zeus part of Big Mum's soul to betray Big Mum, but like to then add a part of Big Mum's soul that's definitely against her to be with her. No, that
Yeah,
doesn't
it would
work
be
for me.
wild, but like that's I don't know other like the only other plot
I
lines that would
see why
happen
it's
would
a
be like
take for
arc
you. Yeah,
specific plot lines where Oda's like, I need Nami, Carrot, and whoever the third person was to get
Shinobu.
at Shinobu to get to X point in the plot, and this is like the way I thought about doing it. But that seems to make the most relevant idea. I just hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you, Sage, on Prometheus is like his whole entire demeanor. I just don't see where he would fit in. Like, I don't know. Zeus is kind of more like happy-go-lucky in a way. So it was like Drizzt was saying, was kind of easier for like Nami to entice him, with the food and stuff. But Prometheus is just angry. Like he just clearly doesn't, like Nami. Doesn't even want to deal with them. And so I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, the weird thing about that is that like Nami enticed Zeus, but that's not the reason why he joined. She made him, which I think is crazy. She made him fear Nami more than Big Mom, which also occurred in the Seducing Woods.
Yeah,
That's how. That's
I
the
forgot
reason
about
why the
that.
homies took Nami's side, because they feared her more than they feared Big Mom. Somehow.
Yeah, that was a bit
So
much.
that could also happen with Prometheus. And no, I'm just gonna stop talking about it. But yeah,
Oh,
I don't want to
I
speak it into existence.
I don't want to speak it into it. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that one.
Man, I really forgot about that. That's gonna be bad.
Yeah. And it's bad for, it would be bad for numerous reasons, not just one or two, because you would obviously know that if that were to happen, that is an easy way for Oda to nerf Big Mom for whatever he wants to happen to her,
Yeah.
just like the amnesia stuff and so on and so forth.
Yep.
This man's just making a Nerf cocktail at this point.
Yeah, which is why it seems like likely. I just don't know.
So I do have a question for you actually. You know the homies' personalities, like I've kind of low key forgotten exactly how they work, but like, do you think the main homies' personalities are gonna like come into play, like where they stem from and stuff? Like,
Do you mean Big Mom's homies
yeah, like
specifically,
specifically the big
like
three,
Napoleon, Zeus,
Napoleon.
Prometheus?
Yeah, those three.
I imagine that it will come into play in some side. People like to say that Zeus is the child version of Big Mom,
Mm-hmm.
the innocent version, or the glutton. Maybe Prometheus is like, I don't know, Prometheus isn't necessarily like mean, but
He can be.
he can be.
Maybe that's like
And Napoleon is
The savagery.
the smart one, I suppose you would say, because Napoleon's actually the homie that controls the information network. All of Big Mom's homies, whenever they report to Big Mom, it goes directly to Napoleon. So Napoleon's quote unquote the brains.
Yeah. Maybe Prometheus is like just her in general, like cause she kind of be chilling until she gets like, cause Prometheus be chilling, but then when he gets angry, he gets really angry, and that's kind of how Big
Right.
Mom is.
So you could argue that as well. Now, as what roles those play, it's kind of weird because it depends on it. Whenever Big Mom creates these homies, like she made those little ones that we just saw.
Yeah.
How does that affect her overall soul? Like if she's breaking off her soul, how many fractions of her soul does she have left to give? Like what does that do to her as a person? The more she gives out,
Yeah, I have
that's
no
just
idea.
unknown information.
Yeah, I want to know how that one works because, like, she eats the life force of her, citizens, and like, is that to replenish what she's losing? like, is it just because she likes the taste? Like, how does that mechanic work? Like, what?
Well, I don't think we've actually ever seen a Big Mom eat souls.
Oh, okay.
No.
I don't think that's ever occurred.
Isn't that what happened to Opera? Isn't that how he died?
With Opera and Moscato, she just yoinked them out of their body,
she
and
just
then
grabbed them.
we never saw what she did with that.
Oh, okay.
So she could have absorbed it, maybe, or eaten it, but whatever she did with it was off screen.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe it was some absorption type shit.
Do you think it's a possibility that Big Mom could kill one of the Straw Hats in that manner?
And grabbing the soul?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It depends. It really depends, because she grabbed 40 years from Moscato, and then Moscato appeared at the end of the arc fine.
Yeah, that was
and he had 40 years grabbed, and he was like an adult. So she could grab years from the Straw Hats.
Maybe she takes the years from them, but like maybe it's their latter years. So maybe like whatever they're living currently is just kind of where they stay at. But once they get to that point of where she took the years from them, they'll die then.
Yeah, so the idea or the thing you have to ask is, if she did do that, then the writing purpose for that would be for Oda to then say, this person needs to get defeated so you can get these back, just like Morgan's shadows.
I think, that's what I was thinking, just because I was like, when I was doing the whole Jinbei thing, we talked about that was forever ago, but I was thinking like maybe it's kind of like that, so like it gives them an opportunity to get them back, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. It's kind of weird though, because with the Jinbei situation, Jinbei was never afraid of Big Mom.
Yeah,
and he refused to do the roulette, so I don't know how she would have taken a soul.
Mm-hmm.
But with like the other weakling Straw Hats, they would definitely be afraid.
Like Usopp especially would be susceptible.
Yeah, Usopp, Nami, Chopper, they would be afraid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Brook. Although I don't even know if it's even possible to take Brooks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. That would be very interesting.
I don't think it actually is, because he's already dead. So
Skull joke.
Yo ho ho.
Yeah.
I do have a question about Brooks Fruit actually, which is a bit unrelated, but how does the user die normally? Like in Brooks' case, obviously his bones would need to be like crushed up enough, but even then, like he's left his body before, so like does his soul just wander the ether? Like how does the fruit reincarnate? Like what level? And if he doesn't go through anything that crushes his bones, how long does he live? Like, does he live his life force again? Does he live the rest of his life force? Because it got cut early? Like...
Well, I would have to actually go back and reread Thriller Bark. But during the period in time that Brook was roaming as a soul for 50 years, I'm not sure if he tried to inhabit anything else, but he said he wasn't able to. Only his original body would work.
Mm-hmm.
But if Brook no longer had his original body, I'm assuming that his devil fruit works where it's just a one-time thing. So if your body dies again, that's it.
Mm.
Otherwise, he would literally be immortal, and he could just kind of Orochimaru his way into whatever host he wanted.
Yeah, that makes sense. So like when his bones are crushed, he just goes away now. That's fine.
Yeah, just a different version of death, I suppose.
But
because otherwise, that fruit would that fruit never would have. He would have had to have been the first person ever to get that fruit.
Yeah, true.
Nope.
True.
Have it because they'd be immortal.
And what about the fact that his bones, obviously they don't deteriorate like normal flesh, so eventually they will, but like how long will he last? Is it his life force again? Is it the rest of his life that he would have lived? Like, what do we think it is?
I don't know if Otis thought that far.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he thought like, well, does Brook have like a normal? Because Brook technically could still be immortal here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could be.
Just given the comical nature that he can make his bones back to 100% by drinking milk.
Well, exactly.
So,
I don't know.
Brook the Immortal.
Brook
Lord
is
knows.
young, yeah.
Lord Brook.
Worship Lord Brook. But yeah, going kind of backtracking a little bit. So I am wondering a bit about Yamato because obviously she's portrayed to be like Odin, and she's kind of doing the whole cosplay of him, and she really values, you know, the logbook, it's her Bible and all that. Whereas Momo obviously can turn into a dragon. So I feel like there's some symbology going here with like a reversal of the characters. And I was quite interested in the way that Kaido says, you know, you're so weak to Momo when he like throws him back into the burning building. You know, obviously Yamato was likely alive then because they saw the execution. I'm interested to see where that all goes. Like, what other things are reversed for them. So one of my theories was that maybe the devil fruit that Vegapunk made was made with Kaido's lineage factor, which is DNA in One Piece, and maybe the way he got that lineage factor information was actually consensually from Kaido to recreate his fruit for his daughter, because we know that there are ties to Vegapunk and Wano, because, you know, Vegapunk's working on the SeaStone stuff, and they want Vegapunk to go to Wano, so I'm interested to see where that all goes.
I'm being pizza right now, otherwise I talk.
That's alright. You eat your nom.
I got a little bit of crust left.
Do you mind repeating the question, Sage?
Oh, no problem. So, like, what dynamics of Yamato and Momo's reversal? Like, what does this mean? Where do you think it's going to lead to?
By reversal, you mean it's kind of like Yamato is what Kaido was hoping Momo would be? Is that what you're insinuating?
Well, Kaido, I was insinuating that it's quite direct. So like the symbols, so Momo is like a dragon and Yamato is like Odin. So rather than Momo hasn't grown up, you know, he's a child and still young and frail, and Kaido's like, oh, you're shit, you know.
You know, it's interesting because I never really thought about it at all. I never really thought about the symbolism. But,
Yeah.
For me, I'm curious to see how Momonosuke's fruit is going to become part of the plot itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of glossed over quite a bit, and there's this severe hatred for dragons, obviously because of Kaido.
Mm-hmm.
But considering that Momo himself is a dragon, I'm wondering if he'll learn something about his fruit during this time. I'm wondering, one, because you know that whole theory of, okay, Momo's gonna unlock Conqueror's Haki, you know.
Yeah, and I do like that. I do like that theory.
So maybe it's something similar, but in regards to his devil fruit, where Momo learns how to use his devil fruit in a way that will actually help him escape his situation, because Momo is trying to escape. And if his devil fruit is like Kaido's, which I think we do believe it is, he should be able to turn into a dragon, because he doesn't have Sea Stone either. I don't even know if Orochi knows he has a devil fruit. I don't even know if they know he has a devil fruit. So if Momonosuke decides to free himself and he gets a moment of courage and that devil fruit comes in handy, I think that would be good. And then in regards to Yamato, my thought was, before we found out who Yamato really was, is that Momo and Yamato are going to have some sort of relationship where it could be possible, if Yamato already knows about Kaido and his devil fruit, or whether he is just a dragon or not, Yamato could also teach Momo how to use his devil fruit correctly. You know, and they could build a relationship like, oh, you're Odin's son, I've always wanted to meet you, this is how great your dad was. And they kind of just have, I feel like there's going to be some sort of team up between Momo and Yamato in a weird way that I think Oda can, you know, tie in, obviously. And I think those parallels that you were talking about, or those contrasts, not parallels, sorry, could be used as something that's more of a beautiful display of teamwork.
That's interesting. I
No, I was saying, I'm also interested in how Yamato and Momo's relationship would be. We know it's confirmed. We know that she doesn't know that the Scabbards are alive because she said in the chapter that once they died, someone needed to carry on Odin's will. So I'm assuming if she doesn't know the Scabbards are alive, she doesn't know Momo's alive. So like, I'm really interested in like how she's going to react when she finds out that not only are the Scabbards alive, but like both of his children are alive and well.
mm-hmm.
So like, I'm really interested in like what Jay was saying, that dynamic, and like if she literally is saying I have became Odin, like I'm trying to become Odin, like I think that she's gonna, of course, be all hands on deck to help Momo in whichever way she can, because that's Odin's son. So I'm interested in that. And as far as like the Conquerors hockey, I'm excited for that. I hope that that does happen. I think that this execution, it will be the moment that it does happen. In my opinion, I think, especially after the last chapter, Momo, this whole time Momo's kind of been going and calling back to what Luffy told him before he went with Kanjuro, of just stay, like just survive, find a way to survive. We'll come and rescue you. And maybe if there's like we've seen like I don't want to like compare this too much to Marineford, but like there have been comparisons made. But like if you remember when Luffy used his subconsciously for the first time, there it was in a moment of desperation to to save Ace before Ace was about to be executed. So maybe if there's like a stress moment or a desperation moment where Momo realizes like, okay, there's no one's going to save me, maybe that's a moment that he could, subconsciously release his Conquerors hockey. And I'm kind of like interested in what that will do as far as the his relationship with not relationship, but his character interactions with Kaido will go, because like Kaido has had this like kind of fascination with Momo a little bit, like, and but like lately when we see him with Kanjo, he makes the comment that he looks at him and he's like, he was disappointed. He went from like being kind of looked like he was angry because he thought like something might have been wrong with Momo, and the Kanjo reassures him that he's alive, to looking at him and saying, I'm disappointed. You haven't grown since the last time I seen you. So like we already know that like Kaido has this like kind of it seems like he has kind of aggression towards Conquerors hockey users. We see like when he knocks Luffy out and he sees Luffy using it and he's like, we don't need another one of you. So like I'm kind of interested like how he'll react as well. Maybe if he sees Momo use Conquerors hockey in front of him, and maybe like if he'll kind of respect Momo a little bit more. Because like there's this whole thing about like Momo and his kind of these moments where he is kind of doubting why people are following him, and he thinks that like he's in the shadow of his father and he's trying to become like his own man. So like I think all of this could like tie back together and make like a really good moment for Momo's growth. That's how I look at it. If he does have Conqueror's hockey and uses it.
Yeah, I think my interest with Momo's growth is immense by this point. The Conqueror's Haki moment I think would be really cool. I think another moment that would be really cool is actually Momo giving the shogunate to Hiyori. I think Hiyori is the one that deserves the shogunate out of the pair of them right now. And Momo, it's been like weeks since he had his dad die. Like, we often say that Momo's quite childish to start with and quite, very almost annoying when he's first introduced. But when he's first introduced, it must have only been like a week or two for him since his father had passed away. And I think I have to give a bit more credit to him for how quickly he's turned from grieving and putting up a farce to believing in himself deeply and wanting to help and wanting to be part of the revolution that frees Wano. Oh yeah, so how does Kaido know what Laughdale is called? Like, do you think that Yamato is telling the truth and Kaido knows nothing about the book? Or do you think he's learnt from someone else? Like, for me, I think it's Shanks. I think Shanks told him.
Do you think that is probably the reason that Kaido could have withdrawn from Marineford at that time is that Shanks traded that information to Kaido?
Yeah,
And that's
I
probably what
believe
made him leave?
so. I believe he told him that Raftel is real and it's called Laugh Tale. And I think he told him elements that would interest him enough but wouldn't give him enough information. So, for instance, I don't think Kaido had any idea of how to translate the poneglyphs or where to start with any of that. And I think it's possible Shanks might have, you know, I think Kaido knew about the poneglyphs from rocks, and then I think he learned more about Laugh Tale from Shanks, and I think putting the two together, he decided that there would be a Pirate King soon. There would be someone to face in this glorious war that he kind of longs for. I think the Onigashima initiative thing, I think that really could be him looking at raising the troops for the last kind of push of the sea. And I think now he's seen a few supernova, I think he believes that his crew could be it, and he believes in himself rather than the up and coming kind of prodigies.
I think there's a correlation between Kaido and the scabbards, and I think maybe he knows that some of the scabbards actually went there, because didn't I'm pretty sure who was it, Neko and Inuyarashi, they were on, weren't they with Roger when they went?
Oh,
Or am
God.
I misinterpreting, or am I forgetting?
They were not there.
They weren't there?
No, I don't think they
No,
were.
I do not believe so.
I was just Odin then.
Yeah, it was just
Okay.
Odin.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious.
I think they
I asked because there was a chapter. It was I think it was 978. I believe it's 978. Kaido was talking to Orochi. And Orochi was doing this like typical, oh, they're still alive thing and being all paranoid and stuff, which he should have been. And I'll just say that I feel like Orochi's been like the main person that's had the right mindset about all of this. Like, he's taking everything serious, but he is doing this typical thing, and Kaido's like, well, if they are alive, then I have some questions for the survivors. So I'm kind of curious if any of those questions have anything to do with that, because then we get, like, recently, I forgot what chapter it was, but I think he makes the comment about like you said, about Laugh Tale. So like, if he knows about Laugh Tale and then he has questions for the survivors, like, I'm wondering if that correlates at all, and that might allude to him like knowing more than like maybe we know. Like, I'm kind of curious if because if they do correlate, maybe he does know more about the poneglyphs and stuff than what we know.
There are a lot of ways to explain how he could know. It kind of depends. Every Yonko should have, at this point in time, sailed to the end of the Grand Line. If you sail to the end of the Grand Line and reach Roadstar, we know for a fact that if you reach Roadstar, regardless of your ability to read the poneglyphs or not, you find out about the poneglyphs at Roadstar. You become aware of what they're supposed to mean, and you're supposed to go back and collect them from the beginning again, like Roger did.
Yeah.
So that could be an explanation as to why people know about it if Raft was mentioned at Roadstar. But then there's also the entire Zebek stuff, and Zebek was trying to be the king of the world, which I refuse to believe that he had no knowledge of anything.
Yeah.
And just wanted to be king of the world because he wanted to be king of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he could have learned that as well.
Especially as a D.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think Kaido knows a little bit more than what like has been told to us, which makes sense. Like, just was saying, him just being a Yonko, whole Roadstar thing, and then like I really am like, because I'm really thinking like, what other, like, I don't know, what other questions could he have for the survivors? Like, could he possibly want to ask them that doesn't like correlate to something of importance? So like, yeah, I'm just curious. There's a lot of things that I'm curious about, and I'm sure by like the end of Wano, we'll have answers on at least some of the stuff.
Do you think it's possible to find all of the poneglyphs if you're not a D? Like,
I mean, it shouldn't matter what your lineage is.
yeah, but what I wonder is, you know, is there an element of fate in One Piece to the degree that unless you have almost the luck that seems to come with the D clan, because like I feel like while Luffy definitely has that in him, a lot of the D's seem to. So.
Oh, well, if you're talking just how Oda is writing the story,
yeah.
Then, I mean, Destiny. People don't like to talk about this because it gets them mad because other series involve Destiny.
Yeah.
But Destiny is a thing. Quite obvious. Quite obvious when you look at One Piece from any lens that Destiny is a major theme.
Yeah.
But if you're talking logically, nothing that we've learned of so far demands that you need to be a D in order to get the answers. But reality, yeah.
It hasn't been told to us, but like, I mean, come on now. I feel like if you're not like anybody, like Drizzt was saying, if you're like looking at One Piece, you can tell that fate and like destiny is like a theme that's in One Piece.
Yeah, I would just say people like to say no, it's not destiny, it's inherited will. This is quite literally the same thing.
That's literally yo, people say that. Are you for real?
Yes, because I have talked to content creators actually, and people are just like, no, it's not destiny, it's inherited will. I'm like, that is the exact same thing.
It's not reincarnation.
There's no difference.
It's
we're talking about here.
Inherited will. That's the only thing that I would say. Because, like, obviously reincarnation is like literal rebirth. Whereas,
right. It's just a fancy difference for it.
Yeah, where it's a fancy different for it.
Yeah, Destiny's still a thing.
But Destiny's still a thing.
Yo, Destiny's not Destiny, dog. It's Destiny.
Run from it.
Dread it. Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same. It's my favorite quote.
I love that quote.
No, Thanos is just
such a goat.
Jesus is Lord. What a man.
Anywho, yeah. A purple god.
The legend.
So, what do you guys think the Onigashima project is going to be? I don't think it's a wedding anymore. I don't think it's a wedding.
I no longer think it's a wedding either.
No.
Oh, the announcement? I don't know.
So my theory is that Big Mom and Kaido are getting married.
Get married at 68, huh?
And that's the favor. That's the favor.
That's a nasty wedding.
Listen.
They call it the project.
Literally have to call it a project.
I'm just saying, like, if it happens, bro, I'm just saying, all I want is you guys to apologize for mocking my behavior.
I'm not mocking you, bro.
I think they're building a new motel.
Nah, but for real, I mean, a lot of people, I would say it would kind of be corny if it was a wedding.
Yeah.
But it definitely has something to do with their alliance.
Well, we know it has something to do with that. Yeah, that, and then we know it has something to do with Yamato. Like that much has been said.
That's true, because Yamato is important for the presentation, right?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Because he wanted him.
So I don't know.
I don't think it's a wedding anymore, but I don't really know exactly what it's supposed to be now.
I don't know what it could be unless it is a wedding. You know what I mean? Because it's at a party too, so like they probably get more reason to drink. Like, oh yeah, celebrate Kaido's, joining with Big Mom or something.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird though, because whenever they made the alliance, they said we're gonna take over the world together first, and then we'll kill each other.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, if you look at Will and Jada, technically you could still go.
Yo,
sorry,
Big Mom and Kaido, they in an entanglement.
We're announcing an entanglement.
Yo,
I had to do it. I'm sorry, Sage. I apologize.
It's
had to be done.
Good. Don't worry. I understand. I think.
I think. Allegedly.
My problem is like I'm not very good with most pop culture because my parents never let me entertain. Well, they didn't entertain it.
Uh,
They didn't entertain cartoons for like a year because I kept swearing, and they thought
It was
they
the
didn't.
cartoons.
Yeah, they thought it was cartoons.
little did they know, I'm just a sailor.
Mate, I used to entertain myself with fishing videos because they wouldn't let me watch proper TV. Like,
I'm actually screaming. Fishing videos.
like.
Yo,
I
fishing
don't know
videos
what
be
to
hitting
tell
those
They be
sometimes.
hitting
Sometimes
different.
they
Okay.
do be hitting. Have you seen River Monsters?
Bro, when they be like deep sea like fishing for like swordfish and shit.
Oh, yo, Bass Hunter? Or
That shit be hard, bro.
Yeah.
I was actually just watching YouTube videos today of just some regular guys in the South just going out fishing in the rivers. Like, this is actually kind of fun to
Bro.
watch.
Bro,
It kind of
do
is.
y'all watch the videos with the guys that are like in the jungles and like they build like 3-story houses and shit?
Yo, that is so entertaining.
I mean, the guys that build like 1,000 pools.
Yeah, no, that was so entertaining.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
I actually
bro.
like watching those. They do like the same thing every video. I'm like, I'll keep watching.
I'm gonna keep watching. I don't care.
That's
Watching
pretty
a nigga hole for like 5 minutes, like, yo, this is kind of lit.
They just go into a jungle and just build a place to live. I'm like,
So
okay.
fucking time lapse of them like just digging this huge hole with their fucking bare hands and a stick. Like,
Just watching Minecraft in real life, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Have you guys seen the cake videos on Twitter that are like going mad?
yeah.
Like
I've seen those cake
every
videos for a long time. I guess now people are just starting to figure out that they
No,
exist.
they're just like freaking out over them for some reason now, and I'm like,
Yo, it's
what?
funny, bro.
Damn,
I seen someone put a gif up of Trunks cutting Mecha Frieza, and he's like
I just
freezes
saw
a
that.
cake.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh god, no. Well,
Love
you
to see
know,
it.
I love
Someone
video,
said
love
you could be
video.
sitting. This video taught me that I could be sitting beside a cake this whole time.
He was never real to begin with.
Oh.
Oh boy. Okay, so it's alright. We'll backtrack a little bit there. So, what's my next question? Yeah, so what's one of your like favorite female moments in One Piece? Like, what was a moment with one of the girls that was like, and I'm banning the Robin one because it's too obvious.
All right.
Yeah.
Jay, I can go first unless Jay wanted to.
No, go ahead, bro.
Mine's kind of like simple, but I really liked it because of like really, it really was. It was a Nami moment that I really liked, but
Mhm.
it was when they were in the upstream going to Skypiea, and the ship was kind of like out of control. They were trying to figure out how to like basically get it steady to go up the stream, and like she like took control as the navigator for like the very first time, and like got them into the Sky Island. That's like that's like one of my favorite Nami moments. That's also in my favorite arc. So a little biased, but I love that moment.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ain't nothing wrong with a good old fashioned bias.
That's facts.
As a Sanji fan, I endorse that. Let me see. Does this count? Does the movies count?
You know what? I'm allow it.
Bro, I need to watch all the One Piece movies. Sorry
So-
to cut you off. But
No, you good, man. Boa Hancock versus Douglas Bullet in Stampede. That was ridiculous. When she basically speedless the man and kicked a giant monolith of a
I
being
did see that.
and left a dent. I was like, Jesus Christ, Boa Hancock is strong, bro. I
Well,
was like,
she was
yo.
about Admiral level in that.
Yeah, I was like, all right,
boy.
boy, yeah. My agenda was there. I was like, yeah, Boa Hancock Admiral level. That's what I said.
Yo,
That was wow.
she went crazy, bro.
Also, this is a little I guess it's more of just like something that I just enjoyed seeing. Sai and Baby Five. I think when the Marines were rounding up the Don Quixote family and Sai and Baby Five were just sitting by each other, and like you saw Sai's like, you're coming with me. And it's just in that moment in time, like Baby Five is like everything that she's wanted in her life is just to be wanted by somebody. But it's like the purity in which Sai said it meant more. So it's like, because she's so easily manipulated, but Sai was coming from a place of purity. So it's just like something that she's deserved that she finally got. And in that moment, I just felt so wholesome and I was so happy. And you could tell like how happy it made her. So for me, I think it's my favorite relationship in One Piece actually is Sai and Baby Five, but you know, not a lot of people like to talk about that.
I really love Baby Five because, like, here's my thing. Like, I'm a real people pleaser. It's like one of my big problems. is that like I'll 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 often try my best to keep people like happy and comfortable, and like it will come at the cost of my own like preservation sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And like so I really understood Baby Five's character, like, you know, I could empathize with it at least. And when Sai turns up and is like just like, you don't need to do that, like, I got you. It was like, oh yeah. I liked that, man. That was a good
It was
one.
really sweet. It's kind of
Yeah.
it's like something like you mentioned, like when you go through things like that, it's kind of like a moment that you always wish would just happen to you, where someone just out of the pureness of their heart just give you something that you kind of always been looking for, but there's like no malice or like motivate or like ulterior motive behind it. It's just kindness, and it's just like it's just the kindness you've been looking for like forever. So that's why that moment really meant a lot to me.
Yeah, that's fair. I can understand that one. Drizzt, any thoughts?
Well, I could name like 100 Nami moments, so I'll try to pick someone that's not Nami.
Fair enough.
I guess I can't use Robin moments either, huh?
Oh no, just the Robin moment, just that I want to live, because otherwise everyone will say it.
Oh, I have another one too, actually.
Oh, well, if that's the only thing I'm not allowed to use?
Yeah, because it's too obvious.
Oh, then I mean, probably I don't know how I'd rank it, but one of my favorite Robin moments is actually just an Alabasta Robin when she is trapped in the mausoleum and she's preparing to die, and she just starts breaking down about how all she wants to do is learn history, but the world's against her.
Yep.
And then Luffy rescues her and then gives her the little speech, which allows her to join. That's a really great moment for Robin. I like that. Also in that arc, just Vivi in general. Vivi's
just
final.
Vivi.
Just Vivi, man.
Good character, Vivi in general, giving that speech to the crew.
That was good. Yeah.
Another good moment for Vivi, because this is not necessarily a great moment for Vivi, but it was a good moment for her to check Luffy, which was at the beginning of Drum Island, when Luffy was about to fight the native people, but then Vivi called him a bad captain, and he didn't know what he was doing, and forced Luffy to bow down to apologize. That was a good moment.
Yeah.
And then later on, she realized the limit of what Luffy was willing to do by climbing up the mountain, and she was like, "Nah, he's a good captain." That's a good moment as well.
I thought
really
of like 4 more out actually.
Nice,
like
nice.
So Dadan, let's talk about
oh my god,
the ultimate mother.
What
her appearing in the Great Terminal when they were fighting Blue Gem with Ace, legendary. Like that, I remember rereading it and I was so hyped just to see her. I was like, yo, that's my mom right there, bro. Like she really just pulled up and saved him. And Dadan is such a stubborn woman where she refuses to show any ounce that she really cares, and then you just see her care in such a Dadan like hardened way where it just means more because it's her way of showing love. And then her moment with Garp, and we've all cried at this part, man, when she grabbed Garp and was just punching him relentlessly and really laying into Garp. And I think the beauty of that moment is that she understands Garp's situation, but it just doesn't matter because it's like she watched her children suffer for everyone to see, and Garp just watched. And he's just like, I'm not even related to these two. And if I'm crying and struggling this much, how could you, who are their actual, like, who's like, these are your actual grandkids, except for Ace, of course, how could you stand by there and do this? Like, if it was me, that wouldn't happen. It's like Dadan was speaking for all of us in that moment. And it's just, oh man, like I never fail not to cry in that moment.
Plus,
I can't.
This is a little like a wholesome moment whenever she sneaks up into the ASL treehouse to tuck them in the bed, and then she walks into the trap, and she's like, "Son of a bitch." I like that.
Dadan is so good, bro. Dadan was such
also
such
Makino in general.
Yeah,
wholesome sister.
Yep. Her conversation with Ace was really nice.
Oh, that was so good.
So sweet.
And whenever she brought the T-shirts for Luffy and Ace.
Yeah.
Because she knew they needed new clothes.
Ace was trying to look cool in front of her too.
Yeah, Ace was blushing.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I got a crush." Okay, all right. It's like, all right, Ace, I see you.
Oh, that was so good.
Also, Queen Otohime, when she passed away, and just the importance of forgiveness and understanding the bigger picture, despite you're in the worst situation possible and you're about to die. To me, that was extremely powerful.
Also, for me, my favorite Otohime moment, more so than anything else than her death, is actually the point in time where she goes out to try to get the signatures, but people shoo her away, and she gets upset, and she comes home, she closes the door, and she just starts crying.
Oh, yeah, that was real.
And then her kids come over and cheer her. She comes over, and it is so cute, and it gives her that strength. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh man.
I really liked the Sindri moment with the plot twist that like the shadow wasn't behaving right and stuff. That was really cool because like I really love the aesthetic of Sindri. Like I really love the aesthetic of Thriller Bark in general. But it was really creepy and like dark what Oda did with that character, like having a fan of a personality, you know, come and dig their body up and then reincarnate them to become their like slave, like like, you know, but what becomes of it is, you know, that kind of, actually she was resentful of it the whole time, and like that was kind of cool to me.
that is a weird moment in One Piece, because at the end of it, Chopper sees her actual spirit. Okay, wow. But that was a good moment.
Also, God, I just had it in my head. It's gone. Jesus Christ, I just had it. I'm trying to remember. Yep, it's gone. I'll let you guys know if it comes back.
Well, I mean,
I remember.
Oh, go ahead.
Lola and Thriller Bark, when she went out to save Nami, and kind of like the friendship that they made. Well, I think it was with Lola's shadow, but I'm still pretty sure Lola remembered, right?
Yeah, she remembered at the end.
Yeah, I think their friendship is actually really wholesome. I think just the moment where she sacrificed herself to save Nami was beautiful, and Nami never forgot about it either.
Nami loves Lola, man. But this is not like a woman. This is still like a girl moment, which is Rika back at Shelltown. I don't know if anyone remembers who this character is, but this
is the girl that gave the onigiri to Zoro?
Yes, the girl that gave the onigiri to Zoro and was trying to get over the hill, and she made it. She made the rice ball, I think, with too much sugar or too much salt.
Too much
one
sugar.
of those, and then it got stuffed in the mud, and then Zoro ate it anyway because he cared. He told Luffy to tell her it was delicious. I really like that moment. She's her wholesome moment with Zoro. I'm actually a big fan of.
And she gets like kicked out the yard, doesn't she? They literally kick her over the wall, and Luffy's like, "Oh shit!"
Luffy catches her.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty good.
And now she runs her own onigiri stand.
Love to
Good
see
girl,
it.
Rika.
Yeah.
Go.
She learns. Miss Golden Week's really cool. I really like Miss Golden Week. That's the color changing mood lady. Well, girl.
Miss Golden Week.
Yeah.
Do I remember Miss Golden Week? I'm trying to remember.
She's the one that
she was only there in the little garden.
Yeah, she painted Mr. Three's what they called mecha, and because she painted it, it got a boost. It got like a buff.
I have a guilty confession. Little Garden is the only part of One Piece I have not watched or read.
You fucking what?
I'm not kidding.
Oh, really?
I'm not kidding. The only thing I know.
As a Sanji fan?
The only thing I know from Little Garden is the Dory and Bragi stuff. That's it.
You don't. Wait, no, that's actually cap, because there's no way that you don't know about the Sanji, Mr. Prince stuff with Crocodile.
No, I mean I know the only Mr. Prince stuff I knew was actually in Alabasta.
Jay.
I said guilty.
Okay, well, there's actually, you may want to go back and check it out, because there's actually a couple solid moments with Sanji there.
All right, well, I'm gonna go back and read it then.
It's been a while.
You be forgetting stuff sometimes, bro. I be forgetting shit too, man. Sometimes I need to go back and read.
There's just you forgetting that I just didn't read
it. The difference between not reading and forgetting.
Oh, you just didn't read it. Oh.
You did not read or watch it.
The streets are ashamed of me right now, so it's fine. It's just like,
I have a moment with it's not really a moment, I guess, as far as just their character and like what she stands for, but like I just want to talk about Tashigi a little bit. I like how Tashigi is like more worried about dying honorably than like dying shamefully, and like I like how like she, even though in her heart she feels like sometimes she might be perceived weaker than other people, and like I like how I can't remember the exact context, but Law caught her, but then kill her. She was upset about it. She asked him to kill her anyway. And then like even with the Monet stuff with Zoro, she kind of was like she accused them of not killing her because she was a woman. I think it's cool that she knows she's a woman. She might be perceived weaker, but it's like she's still more worried about dying an honorable death instead of being just defeated. So like just Tashigi in
I
general.
like what Tashigi's supposed to be. I wish that she was incorporated better within the story.
Yeah.
But she has a few good moments, especially another shine to Alabasta. Good character moment, Alabasta. Actually, a couple of them. Whenever she finds the Straw Hats defeated in the alleyway with her Marines, and she says, just let them be. Don't arrest them. She doesn't want to do them harm. And at the end of the arc, when she cries behind Smoker,
I agree. I agree a lot.
Tells her to get good.
yeah.
I really do want more from Tashigi because I do like what her character could be.
I like what it's. I just don't know what Oda has planned because she has been so absent.
Yeah.
For some, and just Smoker in general in the post concept as well, but just like, oh man, she would probably be one of my favorite females if we got what plot lines are supposed to be incorporated.
The same way, bro. I literally was just rereading like Punk Hazard stuff the other day while working on the video, and I really was literally thinking that same thing. Like, yo, Tashigi could be like one of my favorite characters.
The cool thing about that Punk Hazard scene, actually, with Zoro, is that Zoro was trying to let Tashigi fight her own battle.
Yeah.
He sat in the corner and let her do her own thing, but she was just sadly completely outmatched and couldn't do anything against Monet. And then Zoro came in to save her. But Zoro actually let her fight her own battle. He didn't coddle her.
Exactly. Yeah, which I think is awesome because that's what she wanted. She didn't want to be perceived weaker, so I like that he did that for her.
I think whatever SSG is, and considering Smoker and Tashigi went over to see Vegapunk, if SSG is something that's supposed to enhance the strength of specific, Marines and soldiers, if Tashigi and Smoker get a decent buff from this, they could possibly, we could actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Actually get some credibility from these characters. I'm talking in a power system, like in a power stance.
I really hope so. I just want Oda to go somewhere with the Koena Tashigi plotline with Zoro, where like it leads to a definitive end.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I liked about whenever they first met in Logtown was that Tashigi was under the indication that Zoro was being sexist, but Zoro's like, no, it's not about that. It's just like you look exactly like my dead friend, so like I'm not doing this. It's too weird.
Yeah. My dead friend. Sad.
I think one of my things with Tashigi is like, and Koena, is for me, Koena, there could be such deep symbolism here. Koena could represent the death of the concept that women will always be weaker. Like, Koena's death literally could be like, that has died, and Tashigi, the kind of, the next, the one that looks identical but isn't, Koena, could represent strength, could represent, so much. And just because she's female, I really do feel like she's getting less of a portrayal than other Marines will even get. We all know that by the end of this, Kobe is going to end up with better portrayal than Tashigi, for instance.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. And Kobe is as important as Tashigi really should be, because we've seen these characters from right at the beginning, really, and Tashigi's the first time where we really encounter a proper Marine that we're in, not the one that we're actually dealing with, one that comes back, one that interacts and learns about the Straw Hats and starts being the main kind of, like, her and Smoker being the main kind of chasers of them. So
it's actually unfortunate because Kobe's at least working towards his goal, which is to become an admiral, so he's getting stronger. Tashiki's goal has been stated, but nothing has been done.
Yeah.
Tashiki wants to collect all of the swords so that no one else can have them, and that hasn't gone anywhere.
Nowhere. No, it's a real shame. So, what kind of roles do you think women are going to take in the future? Like, we've got Yamato, you know, we've got Big Mom, we've got Boa. What kind of roles do you think these characters are going to have? Because, like, for me, I feel like Boa is going to be starting to become relevant again, obviously. Big Mom, I think we're chasing around the New World myself, so I think that the reason that we've had such a long cover page with Chiffon and Lola is they'll be going to Elbath, and so will Big Mum. You know, and then obviously Yamato, like, what do we think her role to play is in allowing Wano to open its borders, you know, because that's important.
There's things that I want, and then there's just the other half of it is I just don't know if I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Like with Boa, there are things that I want from Boa. I don't know how the Kobe situation is going to turn out. I hope it doesn't turn out in the way that many other people want it.
Yeah.
Same.
I really, really hope not. I want there to be a win-win situation here that has something to do with Boa's character. It will. In my win-win situation, the only downfall of it is that it does put Boa in like a sort of role of needing assistance, but the benefit is that she can get out of it herself, which I would like to see. Not sure where it's going to go. I really hope that Oda brings Boa up to at least a relevant plot point that involves more future from her. If she's defeated by Kobe, then I'm just going to be unfathomably angry at the potential.
I will just be inconsolable at that point.
Yeah, no, me too.
Like, I would just the devastation.
I would just Kobe is a captain.
I don't know, man.
I thought maybe he could be a captain in Garp's fleet.
It would ruin my day.
Like, let me ask y'all this: is it just like, all right, is it just Boa being defeated in general, or just by Kobe himself? Like if she's jumped or something, would y'all be okay with that?
It's Boa being defeated in general for me.
Okay.
It is Boa being defeated. I like Kobe doing it is kind of adding extra salt into the wound because Oda would be choosing to have one character be important over the other.
Right.
So like that would be extra salt in the room, but for me it is just
her defeat
Boa
in general.
up. Yeah, and just having her be defeated immediately without actually being important to the story.
For sure. That's kind of how it was for me. I was curious about y'all because, like, I've had this conversation before, and, like, certain people were just, it's about Kobe. But for me, it was just, like, what is all the hype for? Like, for her just to be beat like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for me, there has to be a female character in One Piece that commands respect.
Yeah.
There has to be. And Boa Hancock is arguably the only one outside of Nami that commands respect. But I'm talking like respect worldwide right now. Like the world respects Boa Hancock. So it's just like for her to just kind of be shoehorned into being a plot device for Kobe to look good, bro. I'm just not.
And even worse is that like this could potentially lead to a good position, but I just don't like the framing of it where it'd be Boa gets defeated and then she needs to be rescued by Luffy. Just I've had enough of that. Please.
Yeah.
For the sake, for the love of God.
I don't want no more rescue missions, bro. I'm kind of over it.
If Oda makes Boa a damsel in distress after being defeated, then I'm just going to say, well, what was the point to begin with? What I want out of that situation is that I think Boa, no matter what, even if she wins the fight, she's going to have to run away at some point in time. What I want for Boa to happen is I want Boa's sisters to get captured by the world government, and then she has to save her sisters. Because that makes Boa the star of that plot line and gives her relevance.
Cool. That would be cool because now at that point it's not just a Luffy. I'm just tired of the Luffy whole Luffy saved this person.
Exactly. It gets old. But the good thing about that is that with Boa's character, there's only really a few directions you can go with her character that's even relevant to the story. One is her past as a slave being relevant and being brought up and revealed to the world. Because her sisters are slaves too.
Yeah.
So if her sisters got captured and it was revealed upon inspection that they were slaves, they would be returned back to the Celestial Dragons.
And that could make some cool moments too, bro.
That would it would be a circle for Boa's character arc. And that would be amazing.
Having her have those flashbacks in and out of her, like thinking about her time as a slave while she's going to save him and stuff, like that still would be dope.
Right, and there are so many things that Oda can do with that plotline, which would be absolutely amazing, and then Boa would be, just
a complete character.
A complete and good character.
Yep. That would be fire, bro. I like that. Get this man Drizzt a job.
Please!
The editor, please.
Now, as far as Yamato goes, I don't really know, to be honest. I don't think I've seen enough to determine anything. I will say that I'm a bit skeptical of Yamato's future overall relevance in the story, considering how late they were introduced into Wano. 75-ish chapters, and now we get the introduction. I am not sure if they're going to be a character that is heavily important outside of whatever is important to Kaido in this arc.
I don't think they'll be joining the Straw Hats.
No, I don't either. I think it's just she's going to be in this arc and then probably stay back in Wano, who help whoever, if it's Yori or Momo, with the whole.
The way I look at it, what she really means by like inheriting Odin's will is basically just opening the borders. That's basically what that equates to, because that's what Odin wanted to have happen.
Yeah, she is strong though, so like maybe we could see her later on once the big war happens. Maybe
in the final war she'll have some cameos, but it just depends. Oda has the ability to make this more in depth, but I just don't know yet.
Yeah. What about Big Mom being beaten all over the New World, like Luffy says in Fishman Island?
I would. Oh no.
No.
That is like worst. In the worst case scenario list, Big Mom like ruining another arc in a row. Oh please, God, just let this woman be. Give her the respect she deserves, and just kill her off. For the love of God. Please, Big Mom and another arc with more shenanigans.
Do something with her, bro.
No.
Do something with her that involves her not being in the story no more.
God.
I want Big Mom to be respected, and like Drizzt said, to get her respect, but like I just don't want her in the story, bro, anymore. Like,
I mean, I want her in the story, but I just want to see her show out. For real. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Just trying to see some Big Mom greatness, bro.
Yeah, I feel that, bro. I feel that, but I just at this point, it's like, man, I don't know if I got hope anymore.
What you did, son, bro? You said, I don't know, bro.
Yeah, bro.
You sound wounded, bro.
Yeah, cause like I actually like somebody that likes Big Mom, bro. But it's just like, man,
I want to like Big Mom because on paper she's so ideal. Like, she's one of the strongest people in the verse, but she's a woman. She does nothing but eat. She has temper tantrums. She like does her own thing where she's got this country where there's some evil dark side to it, but for the most part she's kind of all about equality. Like, I love her idea. I should really enjoy Big Mom, especially but in actual execution,
that's
man. And I don't know about y'all. I was on VC with Jay when I was reading. Actually, when I was reading this moment, I think was I watching it? I might have been watching it actually. When I was Big Mom's flashback, like her flashback story, I actually liked it.
That was a good flashback story.
Like I liked it. I liked it a lot, and I kind of some funny moments. Yeah, but I liked it a lot, and it got me excited for Big Mom. And then like once I got excited, people were just like, "Man, look, don't get too excited."
He was looking at him in the background like,
And then we get through whole cake, and then we get the Wano, and I'm like, "Come on, man! Come on, man! Come on, man!" And it hurt, bro, because I really do. Like, I'm just like, come on. So I'm with Jay, man. If she was to have any more moments, like please don't make them bad. Like,
Stop
cause she's had
saying that
enough
again.
at this point.
Yeah, because Big
Like,
Mum is one of the few antagonists that I could pick up, like, 3 moments I thought were really cool, and the rest is
yeah.
just.
And she like going back on what Jay was saying about Bo, it's like we talk about characters that like demand respect. And it's like people fear Big Mom and stuff, but it even though we know, like, even though we're told that she's like feared and stuff like that, it just don't like her execution in my head, like I don't see her like that. It's like
Mm,
the world might be see her like that, but I don't see her like that.
mm.
Like, if that makes sense. Like, it's just like she's just, I don't know. I hate calling her mean, but like it really is like that sometimes.
Big mean, though. Big mean.
Big meme.
Feels bad.
Feels bad.
Feels
It feels
real
so
bad,
bad.
Feels real bad, bro.
Especially when you think about how Oda made Big Mum like this really ugly now, past it looking woman.
This
Because
old
obviously,
fat lady.
yeah, because obviously he doesn't want to draw a pretty sexy lady who's strong and get beat up or whatever one he's refusing to draw. Yeah.
I'm starting to get triggered. This is why when I start talking about Big Mom, I just have to sigh.
Yeah.
Big, or if you go by the old translations back in the day, Big Ma'am.
Yeah, Big Ma'am.
Big Ma'am. That's amazing.
I actually think I like Big Ma'am more than Big Mom. I'm not gonna lie.
It was unique. Like Big Ma'am, okay.
All right, Big Ma'am is serious. Okay.
She mean business.
Good old day.
What do you think Vegapunk's kind of involvement's going to be with the Smiles? Like, do you think he's going to have any involvement? Because he's been mentioned a few times, like he was on that newspaper, he was mentioned by Orochi. I feel like he's starting to come into relevance in the story.
Well, him, Judge, and Caesar, they were all on the same scientific team at one point, right? Or am I?
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then there must have been some work with Devil Fruits for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So he's familiar with it as well. Unless he appears in Wano, I don't see how he's going to have an involvement with Smiles. But I think if they see him later on down the line, I think Chopper will probably talk to him about the Smiles.
I see.
Or maybe it's a case where Vegapunk does come down to Wano later on, and Chopper's like, we need to find a way to cure the Smiles, and he's like, oh, I think I know what to do. I worked with Caesar. I worked with these guys. Let me see what I can do. And it could be like Vegapunk is like, you know how One Piece is after the end of an arc, there's some kind of like giant reveal or like a giant revelation. What if Vegapunk is that revelation, and that's the key to truly saving? That's the final key to saving Wano completely.
As far as Vegapunk goes, the only thing I know for sure is what Oda has stated that he's going to do with Vegapunk.
Oh, right.
Because Oda has made a statement on Vegapunk before. This was years ago, though. This was years. So Oda could easily have changed his mind. But what he said about Vegapunk is that Vegapunk would be introduced, quote-unquote, soon in the story, and that he would reveal to the Straw Hats the secrets of the Devil Fruits. That's what Oda said.
Yeah, he did say that. You're right.
So that could happen at the end of this arc somehow or another. I don't know what circumstances would need to happen for Vegapunk to actually get here, but it's possible. I expect him to show up, quote unquote, soon.
Allegedly.
Relatively speaking.
I think yeah, it will be soon, but it will be vague as hell for when that is exactly. But I do wonder, because I have my own personal theory as to why Smiles are different to Devil Fruits. Obviously, they are different to Devil Fruits, so I question whether Tama's fruit, for instance, works on a full zone compared to a Smile. Because one's infused with the soul of a devil, assumably, and I think one might be infused with the soul of an animal, and that's why only zones have been made. But I'm not 100% sure. Like, it depends what sad is.
Isn't that sad? Isn't that the substance that's used to create the smiles?
Yeah.
I wonder if that has something to do with the substance. Maybe all the devil fruits originated in one area, and there's like a specific substance that changes the fruits of that island into devil fruit, and that substance has been spread around by some kind of weird anomaly or something.
Feels sad, man.
I just don't know.
Well, no, man. Headcanon, One Piece, man. That's One Piece is founded on the fabric of headcanon.
Yeah, fair. It's been Sage. See you.